Hi there. We're continuing our journey through the Psalms, and we're in Psalm 10, verses 1 to 15. Some people say that this psalm is a continuation of Psalm 9, and that originally it was part of one psalm together with Psalm 9. There's no superscription, there's no titling to this psalm, which some scholars say points to the fact it's a continuation. However, the psalms are quite different. Psalm 9 is a psalm of thanksgiving for deliverance. Psalm 10 is definitely a psalm of complaint and a psalm of appeal. And the psalm opens up, Psalm 10 opens up with this cry, "How long, Lord, are you going to stand at a distance?" It's interesting that in the Psalms, we're not just reading words of praise, warm words of comfort, we're also reading words that are very much crying out, words that are questioning, words that are saying, why is this happening? And particularly here, the singer is singing about the fact that God seems to be standing at a distance from things that he really is unhappy about. The evils seem to be triumphing. People are taking the law into their own hands. They are oppressing the orphans, oppressing the widows. They're saying God doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what God thinks about us because there is no God to worry about. The evils seem to be triumphing and getting better and prospering. And this is always a great struggle for godly to understand. When God says he is out to put down and to punish evil, when evil triumphs, when evil prospers, this leads to a great questioning on the part of his people. And at the end of this reading, at the end of this part of our reading, towards the end of this section we're reading, the psalmist cries out, "Get up, Lord, rise up, and put down your enemies." He's very harsh on the enemies. He wants them to be finished off. He wants them to be removed completely. These are all natural human reactions. They're not necessarily the ways that God acts, they're not what God does, but they're ways that come from our human requirement, if you like, for justice. After all, God is a God of justice, and we are people of justice. We want to see justice done. God has put something within us that hates to see imbalance and inequity or iniquity. And therefore the psalmist is seeing that here in this chapter. So often we can get very upset about the evil things that are going on around us. We just need to also appeal to God to say, God, you are merciful, God. Have mercy where you can have mercy. Turn things around, yes. We don't have to call on God to destroy everything and everyone in our sight, even though that may be a feeling that we have in our heart. But God is able to change situations around and indeed to arise on them and to make a difference to them. Let's pray that God continues to make differences to situations that concern us, situations of oppression, situations where children are hurt and harmed, situations where people are suffering. Let's call on God to arise and transform those situations. Have a good day.